Have you ever stopped to think about the incredible journey a product takes before it reaches you? Today, we're going to explore that very path. We're talking about international distribution, how a product, maybe made in a small workshop, finds its way into the hands of a customer thousands of miles away. It's a fascinating story, so let's get started. So let's imagine this. You've poured your heart and soul into creating a truly great product. It's perfect. But now comes the big question. How on earth do you get it from your workshop to someone on the other side of the planet? That right there is the entire challenge of international distribution. Okay, so every journey begins with a choice. And in this case, you're at a crossroads. The decision you make right here at the start is a big one. It's going to shape everything: your costs, your level of control, and even how you connect with your final customer. As you can see, you really have two main roads you can take. The first path is direct exporting. That's where you handle everything yourself, building your own teams in the new country. The second, more winding path, is indirect exporting. This is where you team up with partners who already know the way. Let's break down what these two paths really mean. Going direct, well, it's like deciding to climb a mountain all by yourself. It's tough, for sure. It takes a lot more money and people. But if you make it to the top, the reward is all yours. You get total control and potentially much higher profits. Now, the indirect path is more like hiring an expert local guide. It's a whole lot safer and less risky. You tap into their experience right away. The trade-off? You have less control and you have to share the rewards. There's no single right answer here. It all depends on what your company is ready for. All right, let's say you've decided that hiring a guide, the indirect path, is the smart move for you. Now comes the next big task: finding the right partners to guide you on this journey. You know, trying to enter a new country's market all on your own can be really overwhelming. But when you have the right people on your side, it becomes so much more manageable. These partners are essentially your team on the ground. So let's meet some of them. First up, we have something called an export management company, or EMC for short. The easiest way to think about an EMC is to imagine it as your company's export department, but outsourced. They are usually based right in your own country, but they have all the skills to handle your international sales, your shipping, you name it. It's a fantastic way to get global expertise instantly. Next, let's talk about a foreign distributor. Now, this is a different kind of partner. A distributor is located in the country you want to sell to, and here's the key thing: they actually buy your products from you. They take full ownership. Then it's their job to market and sell those products in their local market. This means they have real skin in the game, which can be a huge advantage. Now, here's a really clever strategy called piggybacking. It's exactly what it sounds like. Imagine your company sells, say, great phone chargers. You could find another company from your own country that's already selling laptops in Europe and has a great network. You could partner with them to get your chargers into their distribution system. It's a smart way to get access to a market without having to build everything from scratch. So you know the kinds of partners that are out there. But you can't just pick one at random. You need a strategy. You need to actually map out how your product will get to the customer. We call this your distribution policy. And that brings us to a really important question. There are so many potential partners out there. How in the world do you pick the right one? How do you find a partner who will care about your brand as much as you do? The secret is to be very methodical about it. You have to do your homework. First, you need to look at their financial health. Can they actually afford to buy your inventory and market it properly? Then, what about their marketing skills? Do they really understand the local customers? How far does their sales network reach? And this one's huge. What's their reputation? Will they represent your brand in a way that makes you proud? Going through these criteria carefully is absolutely essential for building a great partnership. Okay, we've planned the route and we've picked our partners. Now it's time for the product to actually begin its physical journey across oceans, land, and borders. Logistics can sound really complicated, but let's break it down into 4 basic steps. First, you've got to choose how your product will travel, by air, sea, or land, and that's always a balance between speed and cost. Second, you have to protect your goods. This means strong, sturdy packaging that can handle a very long trip. Third, paperwork. All the export and import documents have to be perfect. And finally, number 4, you must insure your cargo. You need that protection in case something goes wrong along the way. So who manages all of these moving parts? Well, the hero of this part of the story is the freight forwarder. The best way to think of a freight forwarder is as a travel agent, but for your products. They are the experts who figure out the best, cheapest, and most efficient way to get your goods from point A to point B, handling all the complex details for you. So, your product has safely arrived in the new market. But believe it or not, the journey isn't over. In fact, maybe the most important part is just beginning, managing the relationship with your partners to make sure this is a success for years to come. You see, a good partnership has to work for both sides. To build real loyalty, you need to make sure your partners are winning too. That means giving them a good profit margin, talking with them regularly and honestly, and involving them when you're making future plans. When you treat your distributors like true partners instead of just customers, they become deeply invested in making your brand a success. And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Managing your partnerships actively is what stops problems before they start. It's what makes sure your product's journey is a smooth one, not just this year, but for many years into the future. It's how you build a real, lasting alliance. Look, taking a product global is a big step. It's a huge undertaking. But as they say, even the longest journey begins with a single step. Or in our case, it begins with a single shipment. So the real question to think about is, what's the first step you'll take on your product's global journey?